First there come upon him a shuddering and a measure of that awe which the original vision inspired. This shuddering are the kriyas that the people have in meditation. And then reverence, as if at the sight of a god. And but for fear of being deemed a very madman, he would offer sacrifice to his beloved, as to a holy image of deity. And the guru is the beloved, and becomes almost a deity in his or her own right. He throbs with ferment in every part, and even as a teething child feels an aching in its gums, so does the soul of him who is beginning to grow wings feel ferment and pain. So between joy and anguish, the soul is perplexed and frenzied. With madness upon her, she can neither sleep by night nor keep still by day, but runs hither and thither, yearning for him in whom beauty dwells. This is the Guru Bhakti, the tremendous love for a guru that becomes an obsession. At last the soul does behold him, and lets the flood pour in upon her. Then she has respite from her sufferings, and tastes a pleasure that is sweet beyond compare. Above all others does she esteem her beloved in his beauty. Mother, brother, friends, the soul forgets them all. She cares not for losing worldly possessions through neglect. All rules of conduct, all graces of life, of which before she was proud, the soul now disdains. For, besides her reverence for the possessor of beauty, she has found in him the only physician for her grievous suffering. And so does each divine lover live, after the manner of the God in whose company he once was, honoring him and copying him. As they follow up the trace within themselves of the nature of their own God, their task is made easier, and reaching out after him in memory, they are possessed by him, and from him they take their ways and manners of life, in so far as a man can partake of a God. This is the madness of divine love, and then Plato describes the Gyan, the divine wisdom, which supplants this madness. Again, reading from the Phaedrus. Within the heavens are many spectacles of bliss, where the gods pass to and fro, each doing his own work. And with them are all as such as will and can follow them. But at such times as they go to their feasting, behold, they climb the steep ascent, even unto the summit of the arch that supports the heavens. And now there awaits the soul the extreme of her toil and struggle. For the souls that are called immortal, so soon as they are at the summit, come forth and stand upon the back of the world, and straightway the revolving heaven carries them round, and they look upon the regions without. Of that place beyond the heavens none of our earthly poets have yet sung, and none shall sing worthily. But this is the manner of it, for assuredly we must be bold to speak what is true, above all when our discourse is on truth. It is there that true being dwells, without color or shape, that cannot be touched. Wisdom alone can behold it. And all true knowledge is knowledge thereof, not the knowledge that is neighbor to becoming and varies with the various objects to which we commonly ascribe being, but the veritable knowledge of being that veritably is. When at last the soul has beheld being, she is well content, and contemplating truth, she is nourished and prospers.
Guruvakra Brahma prapyate tat prasadata Guroru dhyanam sada kuryat kulasri swapateyata Swasramancha swajatincha swakirti pushtivardhanam etat sarvam parityaj guroranyatra bhave Ananya cintayanto mam sulabam paramam padam tasma sarva prayatnena guror aradhanam.
We're now going to listen to a conversation which I had with Muktananda at the DeVille Hotel in the Catskills. A word about the translator. We call her the Coconut Devi, the goddess of the coconut, because when Muktananda was a young man, a young sadhu, he was invited to the wedding of this girl's parents. And during the wedding, one of the coconuts from the offering rolled to the feet of Muktananda. And everyone wondered about the significance of that, and Muktananda said, "The fruit of this marriage will come to me." And the daughter was born and became beautiful and intelligent and a spiritual seeker, and she's now with Muktananda and translating for him. And some of the true warmth and richness of Muktananda's being comes through her. The translation is not simply a good translation in words, but there seems to be a real transmission of some of Muktananda's sweetness and power. Muktananda's voice itself was so booming and so loud that we could barely contain it with our microphone system. But I really feel that the vibrations are important, so I have not cut any of Muktananda's language out, although he's speaking in, I suppose, Hindi, or perhaps in his native Indian language. But I think that we should meditate and open when we listen to this, and open to the vibrations of this being. They say that even reading his book, one can receive his vibrations, even touching some object that he's touched. Well, certainly the very sound of his voice must have tremendously potent power in itself to open us up. And this is really what is needed to move from the intellectual, aesthetic interest in spiritual life into the kind of madness that Plato described.
Briefly, I can say Advaita is non-dual. There is no duality in it.
What is it?
तो क्या है?
Advaita.
Advaita, non-dual.
So is spiritual life something simple?
इसका मतलब आध्यात्मिक जीवन बहुत सरल है क्या?
अध्यात्म और कोई है ही नहीं. यदि बिताने को आना चाहिए जीवन.
If you know how to lead a spiritual life, then there is no easier life than this one.
Well, where do the complexities come from that we seem to experience when we try to live spiritual life?
तो जब हम आध्यात्मिक जीवन में रहने को चाहते हैं, तब ये सब दुविधा सब जो आती है, वो कहाँ से आती है?
वो पूर्व द्वैत का पहले का हमारा अभ्यास.
Because before that, you have experienced only duality.
जैसा मनुष्य एक व्यसन को छोड़ने को चाहते तो सारे व्यसन आके कड़े रहते, क्योंकि पहले किया हुआ व्यसन है वो.
And just as if one wants to give up his one addiction, but at that time all other addictions come to him, because he had all other addictions before.
Is it a help to regard the world as a dream, that these addictions are actually dreams and not real things?
तो दुनिया को स्वप्न जैसा समझना ठीक है क्या? ये सब जो व्यसन है वो भी स्वप्न ही है.
दुनिया को स्वप्न जैसा समझना ठीक नहीं है. अद्वैत का जो मूल है चेतना, वो चेतन है बोलकर समझना ठीक है.
It's not right to understand the world as a dream.
इसको चेतना समझो.
You should understand this as consciousness.
चेतन जगत के स्फूर्त.
It is consciousness which has become this world.
Was there ever any beginning to this process?
तो जगत का कोई आदि है क्या, या सतत से ये जगत है, या उसको चेतना से जो
ये जगत बहुत पुरातन और अनादि.
This universe has been existing from ancient times.
मगर इसका उत्पत्ति चेतना चिति से. चिति यानी एक संस्कृत शब्द है. ये चित शक्ति से उदय है चेतनों की.
But this world is created by Chiti. Chiti means consciousness.
उससे उदय है सब अनेक.
So everything has been created by that.
When it says in the Guru Gita, Gagana Sadrisham, like the empty sky.
गगन सदृश
What does that mean?
तो गुरु गीता में जो कहा गया है कि ये गगन सदृश्यम है, तो उसका क्या अर्थ है?
सच्चा निर्लेप,
That means it's pure, it is detached from everything.
जैसे गगन सच्चा और निर्लेप है,
And just as this sky, it is completely pure and clear, and it is detached from everything.
ये बादल की तरह नीचे दिशा का कथन है, अगुणा अलग अज जोई, जिसको निर्गुणा निराकार निरामय निरावास बोलते, सोई सगुण हो आए, वो चीज सगुण हो क्या था?
And Tulsidas wrote Ramayana, and in his Ramayana he says, the sages say, what is formless, and what is intangible, and what is attributeless has become all these forms and attributes and tangible. So whatever you see, formless and form, attributeless and attribute, tangible and intangible, everything comes from that formless.
So if I think the world is Gagana Sadrisham, and Baba thinks the world is Gagana Sadrisham, yet there's a difference between my experience and his. What is the difference and why?
बोलते हैं, यदि मैं समझूंगा कि दुनिया गगन सदृश्यम है, यदि आप समझेंगे ये दुनिया गगन सदृश्यम है, लेकिन दोनों का अनुभूति में भेद है. ये भेद कौन सा है और किसके लिए है?
कैसा भेद है?
What difference?
अभी एक बहने वाला पानी है, ये पानी पतली है, बहता है बोलकर हम भी समझता, और तुम भी उसको बहने वाला पानी पतली है ऐसा समझता, तो ये दोनों का समझ में भेद है कैसा?
Now, for instance, there's a river. The river flows, and it's in a liquid form. Now I know that. I think river is flowing, and it's in a liquid form. And you also think the same thing. The river is in a liquid form and it's flowing. And what difference is there?
यदि तुम पतली नहीं गट्ट है, हम पतली है, ऐसा बोलने से भेद है.
But if you say no, that water isn't in the liquid form, it is in a solid form. If I say no, the water is in a liquid form, then there comes the difference of opinion.
But still, most seekers feel that truly understanding of the nature of the world as pure emptiness is a long process that might take them many lifetimes.
For them to understand.
Yeah.
बोलते कई साधक लोगों को ये समझने के लिए कि दुनिया गगन सदृश में दुनिया खाली है, बहुत समय लगेगा.
हाँ, समय तो लगेगा. वो अपना बुद्धि की लायकी के अनुरूप है. कोई जल्दी भी समझ लेता गुरु कृपा से, कुछ को बहुत दिन लग जाता.
Yes, it might take a long time. It all depends upon one's own intellect. If he has the sharp intellect and if he receives the Guru's grace, then he can understand it very soon. But otherwise, it might take a long time to others.
गगन सदृशम एवमातीतम निरंजनम ऐसा शब्द है.
Are there different stages of that understanding? For instance, I feel I must understand it to some extent, but how could I deepen that understanding?
बोलते समझने के लिए अलग अलग स्तर है क्या, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि मैं उस बारे में समझूं. मेरा समझ कितना गहराई पे जाना चाहिए.
समझने में समझ का स्तर होगा, कहाँ तक ये समझा बोलकर. समझने का स्तर नहीं, समझ का स्तर होगा, कहाँ तक समझाइए.
There is no level in this understanding, but it might depend upon your understanding, how much you have understood.
मनुष्य शक्तिपात द्वारा कुछ काल ध्यान करने से उच्च ध्यान कर वो पूरा देख सकता सब दुनिया को बैठे बैठे, फिर उसका अनुभूति भी हो जाता है कि ये दुनिया क्या चीज है.
If one receives the Shakti path and if he begins to meditate, then in his meditation he understands what is the world, what the world is.
एक ज्ञानात्मक सूक्ष्म बुद्धि है अंदर, वो उदय हो जाना चाहिए समझने के लिए। वो बुद्धि का उदय होगा फिर सब समझ में आ जाता।
Then he sees the entire universe right in his meditation, and that there is a subtle knowledge inside you, and once that subtle knowledge or the intellect awakens, then you begin to understand everything, what the world is.
एतवे जगतामेव संसारार्णवसेतवे प्रभवे सर्वविद्यानां शाम्भवे गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। त्वं पिता त्वं च मे माता त्वं बन्धुस्त्वं च देवता संसारप्रतिबोधार्थं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
That was the brief first part of the conversation in which Baba explained the highest view of reality as Gagana Sadrisham, as like a clear empty sky. In the next section of conversation, there's a discussion of the Kundalini Shakti, which is the energy of the divine Chitti, or goddess, which sustains the universe and which also sustains the intense ecstasy of the spiritual seeker. There's discussion of Kriyas, which in the language of Muktananda are spontaneous movements that one makes in meditation, which shows the working of this Shakti. And also the grace of the Guru, which is the touch or the glance of a realized being which can awaken this Shakti energy. But the most important part of this coming section is what essentially is an initiation by Baba into the Soham mantra. Those of you who are listening will receive essentially an initiation from him into this highest mantra of Soham. So this is his gift to New York City.
ऐसे भी हो सकता है मनुष्य का भिन्न भिन्न प्रकार का चित्त है। इधर वो एक ऐसा वो कुंडलिनी शक्ति का स्ट्रांग एक वातावरण है हॉल में, उसी वातावरण से कुछ कुछ साधक को समझ में नहीं आने से कि क्या है बोलकर ऐसा कभी बाजू में हो सकता हो, डर के जरा ये क्या हो रहे है, क्या है।
Everyone has different kind of mind. Everyone has different kind of temperament. So when one comes here, then because there's so much power here, in our meditation hall we have Kundalini Shakti. It's very powerful. Because one doesn't know about it, because one doesn't understand about that, one might get scared and move back, thinking, what is this after all?
ध्यान करते वक्त किसको शरीर में अनेक प्रकार का क्रिया होता, कोई अनेक प्रकार का भाषा बोलता, कौन प्रेम का आवेश में रोता और दूसरे को दिखते जिस सबको में समझ का ये तो रो रहे, ऐसा बोलकर कोई मनुष्य दूर हो सकता, मगर अभी तक हुआ नहीं, हो सकता।
And when a stranger comes here, he sees other people doing kriyas. People get kriyas during meditation, and some people speak different languages in meditation, and some people begin to cry because of the force of their love. When a stranger sees all these things, he might feel everything as strange.
Does someone have to have some sort of karmic connection with Baba, or is this grace for absolutely everybody?
बोलते मैंने जो दूसरा प्रश्न पूछा था, जो साधक होते हैं उन लोगों को आपके साथ कर्म का संबंध नहीं है इसलिए नहीं मिलता है क्या? इसलिए कृपा आपका पाने के लिए आपके साथ कोई कर्म का संबंध होना चाहिए या आपका कृपा सभी के लिए है?
ऐसा नहीं, हमारा कृपा जनरल है, सबके लिए।
My
ये
grace,
ट्रेडमार्क नहीं कुछ कंपनी की चीज।
my grace is general, it is for everyone, and there is no trademark on
कुछ
this grace,
कंपनी चीज,
not like some company.
ये अमुक लोग का लिए, जैसा इंश्योर होता जिसने निकाला उसका लिए, ऐसा नहीं।
Then your insure company, that you insure your money, then that money belongs only to you. But this grace is not like that.
हाँ, जिसको कृपा एक बार नहीं हुआ तो कोई अर्जा नहीं, दूसरा बार आना।
If you don't receive grace at the first time, then come the second time.
क्या एक यूनिवर्सिटी में एक क्लास में 10 बार ना पास होते मनुष्य, फिर भी पढ़ के पास हो जाते।
In university, students fail so many times, but again they go to the universities and give exams, take exams, and they pass the examination.
ऐसा एक इंटेंस में नहीं हुआ तो 2 3 कर देना तो हो जाता।
In the same way, if you don't receive that in the first intensive, then take the second one or the third one, you will get it.
इसमें एक मनुष्य को वो शक्ति को पाने का बहुत बड़ा उत्कट इच्छा होना।
Now, first of all, one should have longing for this grace, to attain this grace.
और वो शक्ति में, अपने अंतर शक्ति में एक मान सत्य तक है ना, श्रद्धा होना।
And also, one should have faith in his own inner Shakti. And truly, he should have that faith.
और ध्यान में एक रुचि होना।
And also, he should have interest in meditation.
और मंत्र में प्रेम होना।
And should have love for the mantra.
उसके लिए बहुत देर लगता नहीं।
And then for that person, it won't take a long time.
ये जिसमें नहीं, वो झाड़ जैसा ये, उसको होने में बड़ी देर लगता।
Now, if you don't have all these things, all these qualities, then you're like a tree, The tree doesn't have anything, all these feelings. So you're like a tree. It might take a long time. to receive grace.
थोड़ी देर लगता।
Might take a long time.
Yes.
Even the trees around here are receiving grace.
बोलते हैं यहाँ का तो झाड़ भी कृपा पाते हैं।
सच बात है। सच बात है। अरे आश्रम में तुम आए तो देखेंगे, अरे अम्बे का इतना बड़ा अम्बा आता, इतना बड़ा फूल आता, सच बात है।
If you come to the ashram in Ganeshpuri, then you'll see the mangoes grow so big, and also the flowers grow so big.
Suppose someone in Ohio or something like that just had a chance to see Baba very briefly and had 1 or 2 small kriyas, and that was it, and never would see him again in physical form. Would that person's entire karmic stream be changed?
बोलते हैं कि समझो ओहायो में एक राज्य में एक आदमी है, आपको एक ही बार मिला और थोड़ा क्रिया भी हुई थोड़े समय के लिए, और बाद में कभी आपका शरीर का सानिध्य में आया नहीं, कभी आपको मिला नहीं, तो फिर भी उसका जो कर्म का जो प्रवाह है वो बदलता है क्या?
बदलता है।
Yes.
वो क्रिया को श्रद्धा से, सम्मान से बढ़ते रहने से बदलते रहता।
If he develops his kriyas with great respect and faith, then everything becomes good for him, The karmic stream also changes.
But some effort is necessary to one can't simply have the experience and then forget about it, or can one?
बोलते उसके लिए कुछ प्रयत्न का जरूर पड़ता है ना, यदि कुछ अनुभूति हुआ भी तो उसको भूलना नहीं
और ध्यान करते रहना।
No, you should not forget it, and you should keep on meditating every day.
पूरा हुए तक ध्यान करना पड़ता।
Until you attain the final state, you should meditate.
और कुछ लोग हमारा साहस नहीं, केवल पुस्तक वाचने से भी शक्तिपात होता हो। कौन सा उसको क्या नाम रखे, इधर एक दरिद्री नाम रखे, हाँ, चिशक्ति विलास।
And there are some people,
दरिद्र नाम रखे,
they don't have to come and meet me, just by reading the book Play of Consciousness, and the Hindi version is Chishakti Vilas. They get Shaktipat.
उसमें भी हो जाता है, उसमें भी वो खूब आगे बढ़ जाने।
Even from the book, one sees Shaktipat and he develops in this pursuit.
So there's a basic karmic pattern, say in the United States, in which people are reaping the fruits of what they sowed, and they've done certain things and they're getting certain results. But a Siddha comes, like Baba, to the country, and upsets that whole system.
बोलते हैं कि
What does God think of that?
बोलते हैं अमेरिका में इन लोग का ऐसा ख्याल है, कुछ इन लोगों ने कर्म किया है और कुछ इन लोगों ने बीज बोया है, और कर्म जो किया है इन लोगों ने उसी का भी फल भोग रहे हैं. लेकिन उस समय एक सिद्धा आवे यहाँ जैसा बाबा जैसा, तो फिर उस सब जो कर्म का इन लोग का जो ख्याल है वो सब ऊपर नीचे हो जाती है. और इस बारे में भगवान का ख्याल है, भगवान का क्या ख्याल है?
भगवान ख्याल रहित पुरुष है.
You know, God doesn't have any thoughts. Some thoughts.
वो उसको ख्याल ही नहीं उसमें.
So he doesn't think about anything.
उसमें ख्याल हो तो अपना दोस्त बनेंगे, वो मनुष्य बनेंगे.
You know, if he also thinks, then he'll become a friend. You know, he'll become human being.
निर्गुण निराकार है तू रघुराय, नहीं वर्ण छाया. उसमें वर्ण नहीं, छाया नहीं, रूपा नहीं, ख्याल नहीं, केवल निर्गुण निराकार. ऐसे एक चेतन है.
You know, God is form of consciousness. God is consciousness. He is attributeless. He is formless. He doesn't have any color. He doesn't cast any shadow.
ये उसका असली रूप.
And this is his true nature.
मगर वो जगत रूप बनते समय बहुत रूप, बहुत नामक, बहुत प्रकार हो जाता.
But when he takes the form of this world, he also takes different forms. He becomes different things.
मनुष्य में अनेक प्रकार का कर्म भाव रहता जन्म जन्मांतर का.
And it's true that one has the impressions of different karmas he has done, he has performed in his countless lives.
फिर एक अंदर ऐसा समय आ जाता है उसको ध्यान और योग और ज्ञान का अग्नि में उसको जलाकर स्वच्छ निष्पाप हो जाता.
And then a time comes when one burns himself through the fire of meditation, through the fire of knowledge, and through the fire of yoga.
जैसा कुछ मलिन सोने को अग्नि में डाल के तपाकर स्वच्छ कर देती हो सोना लोग.
Just as if there is a piece of gold covered with impurities, then the goldsmith beats that gold in the fire, and then again he purifies that gold, and it becomes pure.
ऐसा योगा अग्नि में तप कर, ध्यान अग्नि में वो शुद्ध होकर और ज्ञान में वो स्वच्छ को जानकर प्योर सोना जैसा बन जाता सभी आत्मा लोग.
In the same way, you burn yourself in the fire of yoga, then you become pure. Then you become pure in the fire of meditation. Then you understand that you have become so pure in the fire of knowledge.
So maybe there is no karmic binding at all.
उसका मतलब कर्म बंधन है ही नहीं.
फिर एक बार कर्म जल गया फिर कर्म बंधन नहीं.
Once the karma is burnt up, then there is no binding of karma.
जैसा बुना हुआ बीज जैसा होता.
Just as a roasted beans, you know.
जैसा गेहूं है वो बुना है.
For instance, take a seed of a wheat seed and then roast it.
और वो फिर जमीन में डालने से उगता नहीं.
Then if you sow that seed in the earth, it's never going to bear fruit.
ऐसा सब कर्म से कम जाने से फिर जहाँ तक जीना है वहाँ तक जीता, जिया बाद परमात्मा में मिल जाता.
In the same way, if all the karmas are burnt up, you live in this world as long as you were supposed to be, and then you pass away, then you become immersed in God, immersed in God.
ऐसा मिले हुआ ही है, मिला हुआ च मिल जाता.
Like that, everyone is one with God, but already you are one with God, but after that again you become one with God.
So the mantra such as Soham, I am He. Is that to be used as an affirmation of the truth of oneness with God?
बोलते जो मंत्र सोम है मैं ओ हूँ, तो ये वो सत्य के नहीं वापरना चाहिए क्या? मैं वो सत्य हूँ।
हाँ ना, वो मंत्र स्वयं वो है, वो अंदर होते रहता। जहाँ तक अपने को अंदर होते रहता वो समझ में आता नहीं, वहाँ तक जपना चाहिए सत्य कर लिए।
This mantra is self-revealing and it happens within you spontaneously all the time, but you are not aware of it. That is why until you become aware of it, you repeat this mantra.
So this is what Baba means when he says everyone is already one with God, because Soham is already going on.
बोलते जब आप बोलते हैं सभी हर एक वो भगवान में एक है, तो आप इसलिए बोलते हैं क्या क्योंकि सोहम मंत्र भी सतत होते रहा है।
हाँ, हरदम होते रहता है वो जन्म से।
Yes, the moment you take birth, this mantra begins to repeat within you.
अपने ख्याल नहीं है उसका।
But you are not aware of it.
तुम शांत बैठिए, देखो नुस्ता श्वास ले और श्वास छोड़ो, क्या बोलता तुमको समझ में आएगा।
You should sit quietly and just listen to your breath. Then you will know what mantra is being repeated inside.
स्वयं वो जपते रहते।
This mantra is spontaneous. It's happening within you all the time.
ये महामंत्र है, ये सिद्ध मंत्र है।
This is the greatest mantra and this is the Siddha mantra.
ये अंतर से गुह्य गुप्त रूप से जपा जाता, क्योंकि किसको सुनाई नहीं देता।
And this mantra, you repeat this mantra secretly within you, and no one can hear that mantra.
ये ऐसा नहीं कि आधुनिक ठिकाने कहीं कहीं गुप्त मंत्र चलता, ऐसा गुप्त मंत्र नहीं है।
But when I say this mantra is being repeated secretly inside you, I don't mean like modern mantras. You know, there are modern mantras we just say they're secret mantras.
ये मनुष्य का बाल कोट ड्रेस रूप दे के भिन्न भिन्न दिया जाता, ऐसा नहीं, सभी के लिए स्वयं परमात्मा दिया हुआ है।
This mantra is the same for everyone. No, it's not like this mantra is given after looking at your hairstyle and hairdo or your coat or your dress. You know, this mantra, God has given this mantra to you, and it is the same mantra for everyone.
Can Baba explain a little bit more about the meaning and practice of the Soham?
तो सोहम मंत्र का अर्थ के बारे में, उसका अभ्यास के बारे में आप कुछ थोड़ा बोलेंगे क्या?
हाँ, सोहम मंत्र के अभ्यास ऐसा है, सो बोलकर प्राण अंदर जाता।
You inhale so
और हम बोलकर प्राण बाहर आता।
and exhale hum.
और ऐसा सतत रात्रि दिन अपना आप आता ना।
Day and night, you breathe in and breathe out. Along with that, this mantra, you repeat this mantra.
ये मंत्र वो सूचना करता, वो जो परम सत्य है वही हम यानी आत्मा है, ऐसा बोलकर नित्य सूचन करते रहता।
Now, all the time, this mantra indicates you that you are that. Now, the supreme truth which is there is also within you. So you are the supreme truth.
और इसको थोड़ा काल में मनुष्य अभ्यास करके जपने से उसका अंतर शक्ति जग जाता।
And you are the self. Even if you practice this for a short time, your inner Shakti is awakened.
फिर वो अंदर समझ जाता है कि ये स्वयंभू मंत्र।
After that, you understand that this mantra is self-revealing It happens spontaneously.
फिर समझते ही उसका विकास अभी होता.
The moment you get this understanding, then your Shakti begins to expand.
Yes.
Yes.
Since there are no basic karmic limitations, that anyone listening now at this time could practice this Soham mantra with Baba's blessing?
बोलते हैं यदि कोई कर्म का सीमा नहीं है, कोई कर्म का बंधन नहीं है, तो फिर ये जो सोहम मंत्र है, यदि कोई भी जपे तो आपका they receive Baba's grace.
Would they have Baba's blessing to practice this?
बोलते आपका आशीर्वाद है क्या उन लोगों को इस सोहम मंत्र जपने के लिए?
कोई भी जप सकते हैं.
Anyone can repeat this mantra.
वो सबके लिए आशीर्वाद है. अपना वो नजीक रहते उसके लिए आशीर्वाद है, अथवा हमारे कैंप में जैसा कुछ है ना वैसा उसमें भर्ती होने से आशीर्वाद, नहीं तो नहीं ऐसा.
No, I bless everyone. I extend my blessings to everyone. It's not that people who are close to me will only get this blessing, or only if they come and join the membership of this camp, they will receive the blessing. It's not like that.
जैसा कुछ पक्ष है यमसी केएम आर्यस वगैरह कुछ समझता है, वो समझता जैसा हमारे नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे समझता में आने से वो आशीर्वाद है, नहीं तो नहीं, ऐसा नहीं.
No, it's not like other organizations. You have different organizations, KC or RES or KM. They say if you come to our organization, then only you'll receive something. But here it's not like that.
Well, then is Baba an individual at all? Is Baba an individual at all?
बोलते हैं आप कोई व्यक्ति है क्या? आप कोई व्यक्ति है क्या? व्यक्ति, मनुष्य जिसको बोलते हैं व्यक्ति.
जैसा तुम देखते हो ऐसा है.
I am what you see.
तो जैसा देखते हो ऐसे. व्यक्ति होने से व्यक्ति है, मनुष्य होने से मनुष्य है, योगी होने से योगी है, मूर्ख होने से मूर्ख है, मूढ़ा होने से मूढ़ा है.
I am what you see. If you look at me thinking that I am an individual, then I am an individual.
मूढ़ा होने से मूढ़ा,
if you look at me,
मूर्ख होने से मूर्ख, देखने से मूर्ख, बोलो सब बोल.
समझ रहे. If you look at me as a human being, then I am a human being. If you look at me as a fool, then I am a fool. If you look at me as a stupid idiot, then I am a stupid idiot.
और बहुत बड़ा करके देखो तो उतना बड़ा भी है.
Then if you look at me as a yogi, then I am a yogi. And if you look at me as a great being, I am a great being.
और मूढ़ देखने से मूढ़ है, साक्षात्कारी बोलकर देखने से वैसा भी है.
So if you look at me as a fool, I am a fool. But if you look at me as a realized being, I am a realized being. It's all depends upon you.
What does Baba see when he looks at himself?
तो जब आप अपने तरफ देखते हैं तो आप क्या करके अपने को देखते हैं? हमको
समझ कर देखते, बस मैं ही हूँ.
I look at myself, being aware. I am.
मैं ही हूँ.
I am.
That's all he sees?
उतना ही आप देखते हैं? Yes.
मैं ही हूँ.
I am that.
मैं का बड़े अर्थ होता बोला.
That I has a great meaning.
मैं को चेतन बोलती.
I is consciousness.
ओ, हम में दो जाति है.
There are two kinds of I. I means
aham. एक युगयुक्त है, एक निर्युगयुक्त है.
One aham is filled with ego, and the other aham is free from ego.
ईगो रहता एक अहम है. वो ऐसा देखता.
So the I is free from ego is I. I look at myself being aware of that I.
वैसा मैं देखता मैं हूँ.
That's how I look at myself.
अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, ये वेद में सब. अहम वो जो मैं ब्रह्मास्मि परमेश्वरी.
Now Vedas say Aham Brahmasmi. No, I am God, I am consciousness.
नानारूपमिदं सर्वं नाकेनाप्यस्ति भिन्नता कार्यकारणता चैव तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः यदङ्गिकमलद्वन्द्वं द्वन्द्वातापनिवारकं तारकं सर्वदा पादाभ्यो श्रीगुरुं प्रणम्यम् शिवे क्रुद्धे गुरु त्राता गुरौ क्रुद्धे शिवे नहि तस्मात् सर्व प्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे वन्दे गुरुपाद द्वन्द्वं स्वां मनश्चित्तगोचरम् श्वेतरक्तप्रभा भिन्नं शिवसत्यात्मकं परम् उकारञ्च गुणातीतं ऋकारं रूपवर्जितं गुणातीतस्वरूपञ्च.
This is WBAI 99.5 FM, WBAI New York. We're listening to Baba Muktananda chanting now from the Guru Gita. And we've been going to continue hearing a conversation that I had with him in the Catskills, where he has a summer ashram. That was a very remarkable section in which he actually gave initiation to all of us into the Soham mantra. And I have every bit of confidence that if anyone wishes to practice this sincerely, it will bear spiritual fruit. You may wish to go thank Baba in the Catskills some weekend for giving you this. There's a telephone number that you can dial directly, and there things happen on the weekends up there. It's a very, very pleasant place. I suggest an experiment might be in order to visit there. You can call in the spirit 966-0554 if you can't find the number. In the next section of our conversation, we talked about Shiva and Shakti. For those of you who aren't too aware of these categories from Indian and Hindu and Buddhist Tantra, Shiva is the male principle and Shakti is the female principle. And Shakti is like the first part of the section from Plato I read. She is the feminine ecstasy. And Shiva is like the second section, which is just the pure vision of being, formless, without any dance at all. But I was asking Baba about this, and he enlightened my attitude about it by saying Shiva and Shakti are the same thing. They're not two, and their play together and their union is actually an identity. And after the conversation I had with Muktananda, he kind of slapped me on the back and said thanks, and walked out of the room. And I went to the meditation hall afterwards and really feel that I had a kind of experience of the Shiva side of that identity, of that union. There's a kind of complete silence, complete fullness, without any sort of forms or emotions or thoughts arising.
No, there is no difference. Shakti is love and Shakti is peace.
Shakti ho jagat hai, Shakti ho nar hai, Shakti ho nari hai.
And Shakti has become this world, and Shakti has become a woman and a man.
ये जहाँ तक समझते हैं वहाँ तक सब कुछ भेद है और दुख का और जालसी.
As long as you don't understand this, there lies duality and miseries and unhappiness and hatred.
समझा बात नहीं.
But once you understand this, then nothing remains like this.
And Ramakrishna used to sing a song about Mother Kali, and said in the lotus wilderness she sports with her mate, the swan, or Shiva. So could he explain who Shiva is? We've heard of Shakti, speaking of Shakti again and again. Who is Shakti's mate?
रामकृष्ण परमहंस ने एक कविता गाए हैं, वो जो काली है वो कमल के फूल में बैठकर उसका जो वाहन है हंस, उसके साथ उसका संबंध होता है। तो हम शक्ति के बारे में बात की है, तो शिव कौन है, शक्ति का पति कौन है?
वो शक्ति शिव है, शिवाची शक्ति।
No, Shakti is Shiva and Shiva is Shakti.
न शक्ति अतिरेकिनी शिवा, शक्ति से भिन्न शिवा नहीं, शिवा से भिन्न शक्ति नहीं।
Shakti is not different from Shiva, Shiva is not different from Shakti.
मनुष्य और मनुष्य का शक्ति,
For instance, man and man's strength and a man's power.
क्या वो मनुष्य से भिन्न है?
Is man's power different from man?
ऐसे ही शिव और शक्ति एक है।
In the same way, Shiva and Shakti are one and the same.
वो जो शांत, प्रशांत और शुद्ध और परमा आनंद में मस्त रहता, तो उसको शिव ऐसा समझना। जब भी वो कुछ कार्य करने को लग जाता, वो शक्तित्व बन जाता, तभी उसको शक्ति ऐसा नाम।
When that is supremely in the serene state, when that is in the supremely serene state, when that is in the supreme bliss, and when that is passive, that is called Shiva. But when the same Shiva, when that begins to act, it becomes Shakti.
But in the meditation hall, one never hears Baba's disciples saying, I experienced the awakening of Shiva. They always say it's the Shakti.
बोलते हैं ध्यान का हॉल में आपका कोई भी शिष्य ऐसा नहीं बोलते हैं कि हमको शिवा का जागृति की अनुभूति हुई, उन लोग बोलते हैं शक्ति का जागृति की अनुभूति हुई।
उसको शिव बोलते ना, शक्ति कुछ वो लोग शक्ति बोलने से भी शिवा कुछ शक्ति बोलती।
Even though they say Shakti, they do mean Shiva, because Shiva is the passive state and the Shakti is the active state.
जैसा शिव और शक्ति दोनों नहीं ना, उनको शक्ति बोलने से ठीक है।
And Shiva and Shakti, they're not different. So even if they say Shakti, it's okay.
मगर परिचय शक्ति रूप से होता शिव का विशेष।
But you understand Shiva through Shakti, or you understand Shiva as Shakti.
जब ये शक्ति जाके शिव में मिल जाता तो फिर वो शिव हो जाता।
And when
फिर वो जहाँ परिचय भी नहीं, जहाँ कुछ प्रश्नोत्तर भी नहीं, जहाँ कुछ भी नहीं।
And when Shakti rises up, and when she becomes immersed in Shiva, when she merges in Shiva, she becomes Shiva. And there is no need for understanding, there is no need for questions and answers.
गैस होने से अभी वो बज में चले जाओ बोलो। हाँ मोटर।
Are there differences in? Baba said earlier that there were differences in temperament between seekers. Are there some that are more drawn to the silent, passive, still approach, and others who are more drawn to the active, ecstatic approach?
बोलते आपने बोला साधकों में अलग अलग साधकों का अलग अलग चित्त और प्रकृति होती है, तो इसलिए कोई साधक ऐसे होते हैं कि जो प्रशांत स्थिति है, जो मौन का स्थिति है, जो शुद्ध का स्थिति है शिव का, उस तरफ उनका आकर्षण होता है, और दूसरे लोगों को शक्ति की तरफ जो क्रियाशील है।
ऐसा नहीं, जो भी साधक सभी साधक उधर जाते शिवा के तरफ कालांतर में।
It's not so. When the time comes, every seeker goes to the same place.
हाँ, जो जिसका लायक है, जो तुरंत भी चले जाते उधर, जो कुछ काल साधन करके जाते।
According to one's worthiness, one reaches that place very soon, and another person reaches that place lately, and it takes him a little bit of time, and he pursues sadhana, and then he reaches that state.
वो मनुष्य का लायकी के ऊपर है.
Depends upon one's worthiness.
Suppose a very worthy seeker experiences something of that union, but not everyone can have the fullness of a Siddha Guru such as Baba. There can't be thousands of Siddha Gurus. There can only be a few. So presumably, even if a person experienced the fullness, it wouldn't be at the level that Baba experiences it.
Well, यदि कोई लायकीवान साधक है भी, उसको उस स्थिति का अनुभूति भी हुई, उसमें एकत्व प्राप्ति करने की अनुभूति भी हुई, लेकिन फिर भी एक जो सिद्ध गुरु जो स्थिति में उसका तो अनुभूति नहीं होगी, वो स्थान तो प्राप्त नहीं कर सकता है जैसे कि आप है, और हजारों सिद्ध गुरु तो हो नहीं सकते हैं, थोड़े ही हो सकते हैं ना.
मेरा समय में, छोटे समय में 50-40 सिद्ध लोग थे हिंदुस्तान.
When I was young in India, there were 40 or 50 siddhas living.
अभी ये सब जिन्न हो गए, वो चले भी गए.
Many of them have become very old, and many of them have passed away.
Will there come a time in America where there may exist 40 or 50 siddhas who've been who Kundalini has been awakened by Baba?
वो तो हो सकता है कि अमेरिका में आगे 40-50 गुरु लोग होंगे जिसके आपसे शक्तिपात, उनका शक्ति जगी हुई है.
हमारे यहाँ भी निदान 150 कितना सेंटर? हाँ, 100 ऐसे सेंटर चलता अभी.
Right now there 80 or 100 centers are going on. My centers are going on.
सेंटर चलता, उसमें भी ये सब रिका में है अभी करने वाले काम. ये लोग सब काम कर सकते.
And all those people are running the centers, and here many people are sitting or worthy of running the centers and doing that job, but now they're sitting here quiet. They aren't doing any work.
ना 500 हजारों लोग इधर तैयार हुए.
There will be thousands of people ready here.
But in India or America, is there one person who has the fullness of Baba's experience?
तो इंडिया में या अमेरिका में आखिर को एक व्यक्ति भी है क्या जो आपका स्थिति में, जो आपका स्थिति का अनुभूति करता है?
होगा भी, होगा भी. यदि अपन नहीं भी देखा तो होगा. इतना बड़ा राष्ट्र है.
The world is so big. Even if you haven't seen one, there must be someone.
But there can be a certain amount of self-deception involved in this. For instance, certain disciples of Baba's who have gone off on their own and asserted that they are siddhas.
तो इसमें कुछ आत्मा का ये भी हो सकता है, यानी जैसा कि कई आपके शिष्य लोग हैं जो अपना ही शुरू किया है और बोलते हैं हम सिद्ध है.
सर्वसाधारण हमारे शिष्यों में हमारी शक्ति उतारने से उनमें कोई सिद्धता सहज आ सकता थोड़ा बहुत.
If there is my disciple, and if my Shakti has entered in him, he can experience that siddhahood a little bit.
यदि पूर्ण सिद्ध नहीं तो भी वो सिद्ध का तो है.
Even if he's not a complete siddha, still he belongs to a siddha.
ऐसे सिंह का बच्चा, सिंह नहीं तो भी बच्चा तो सिंह का होता.
If there's a lion cub, if it's not been born from that lion, but it belongs to that lion group. Lion's cub.
So there can be minor siddhas as well as mahasiddhas.
उसका मतलब छोटे सिद्ध और महान सिद्ध ऐसे.
हाँ, सिद्ध कहानी है ऐसा बोल सकता हूँ.
You can say they are the followers of a siddha.
वो आगे बच्चे बढ़ के सिनेमा बन जाएगा.
Not that lion cub, even if it's not a grown up lion right now, but in the future it will grow and will become a lion.
Yes. हाँ, हम कुछ बोल रहे तो मनुष्य सतत अंतरात्मा का नजीक यात्रा करते रहना चाहिए. केवल बाह्य जगत में जगत का यात्रा में मनुष्य का मनुष्यत्व पूरा होता नहीं.
A man has to take the inner journey to the inner self. Just being in this outside world and doing different kinds of things and just touring the outside world, he doesn't attain the full humanity.
खाने में, पीने में, कारखाने में, कमाने में, क्लबों में, होटलों में, सिनेमा में, पिक्चरों में, टीवी में, इतने में मनुष्य जीवन पूरा होता नहीं.
Just by eating, drinking, and going to the clubs and hotels and bars and watching TV, they don't.
फ्रेंड और फ्रेंड में इतने में पूरा होता नहीं.
And just by moving among your girlfriends and boyfriends, you don't attain that full humanity, state of full humanity.
इससे भी जरा आगे जाना. इसके विरुद्ध नहीं, हम इसको छोड़ ऐसा भी बोलता नहीं, क्योंकि इसको छोड़ने के बहुत कष्ट है. इसमें तो बांधा गया है सब जगह, सब जगत.
Just by doing all these things, you cannot fulfill your life. Now, you just have to go beyond this state too. I don't say that you should give up your worldly life. I don't say that I'm against your worldly life. But because you're already bound in this worldly life, you have to be in this anyway.
इससे भी थोड़ा आगे जाना चाहिए.
So you have to go beyond this state also.
मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथ मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरु ममात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरोर्कृपा. गुरुरनादिरनन्तश्च गुरुर्परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. सप्तसागरपर्यन्तम् तीर्थस्नानादिकं फलम् गुरोरङ्घ्रिपयो बिन्दु पाशान्तेन दुर्लभम्.
We've been continuing our conversation with Muktananda, and one of the lion cubs that Muktananda was referring to before was, of course, Baba Frijan. I don't know if Baba Frijan's people would appreciate Baba being called a lion cub, but this is one of the stronger influences that Muktananda's had on our culture, was by awakening the Kundalini Shakti in Baba Frijan, and the end of that story has not yet been heard. The final section can be treated as a special meditation. I asked Baba to describe the blue pearl and the blue person and the blue radiance, which are his experiences of ultimate realization, and to discuss them. And perhaps at this point we really could close our eyes or concentrate our gaze and really open up to the power of this being and join each other too in this meditation.
प्रयत्न करने से पर भी नील बिंदु एकदम प्रकट होने वाला वस्तु नहीं है वो.
Now, even if they make an effort to meditate, listening about the blue pearl, still the blue pearl doesn't come to you just like that.
वो केवल शक्तिपात द्वारा कुछ साधन का नंतर प्रकट होतो.
It's only after you receive the Shaktipat, you pursue a sadhana for a while. After that, the blue pearl reveals itself to you.
हाँ, फिर भी जो मनुष्य रेडियो में सुनकर और श्रद्धा से मिल गया और ध्यान करते रहने से कुछ काल तक बड़ा श्रद्धा के साथ उसको नील अंदर से नील पुरुष प्रकट हो भी सकता.
Even then, if one listens to this with great faith, if one meditates with great faith, after a while, this blue pearl or the blue person might reveal itself to him.
इतना श्रद्धा और निष्ठा होना उसको.
But that person should have this much faith, this much one-pointedness.
ऐसा सर्वसाधारण वो मेरे जो शब्द है नहीं समझने से भी वो शब्द सुनते सुनते भी कुछ चीज जिससे किसी को शक्ति का संचालन हो सकता, अंदर शक्ति आंदोलन हो सकता.
Generally speaking, even if you don't understand my words, still if you listen to my words with faith that those words can activate your Shakti can be awakened.
कि हम लिखा हुआ पुस्तक भी कई ऐसा पकड़ के बैठ जाते तो उनको शक्ति जागृति हो जाता.
Now, there are some people who take my notebook, my handwritten, where I write my notes, and if they take that notebook and put against their hearts, they experience that Shakti.
ध्यान सभी लोग करने चाहिए जैसा भोजन सभी लोग करते.
Now, just as everyone is, in the same way, everyone should meditate.
ये बहिरंग शरीर का मात्र पोषक अन्न से होते, अंतरंग का पोषण अन्न से नहीं होता, वो ध्यान से होता.
You can nurture this outside body with food, but you can't nurture that inner body with food. You can nurture that inner body only through meditation.
हम सभी को बोलते रहता हूँ वो परम सत्य को कहीं बाहर मत ढूंढो, वो तुम्हारे अंदर ही चाहे, मगर अंदर से मात्र उसको खोज करते रहो.
I tell everyone, don't seek the supreme truth outside. The supreme truth exists within you. That is why you should try to perceive that supreme truth right within yourself.
सुनने में रुचि मात्र होएगा, वो परम पुरुष है, वो नील, वो सहस्रार में रहता.
Supreme truth in the form of the blue pearl, blue person lies inside the Sahasra.
कभी कभी आँखी का दायरा के खड़ रहता, जाता आता जाता आँखी में, आँखी को भी समझता नहीं वो कैसा था कैसा जाता.
And sometimes through the eyes, this blue pearl goes out and comes in, goes out and comes in. Even it is so subtle, the eyes cannot feel it.
एक मुद्रा आ जाता है, ऐसा एक मुद्रा प्राप्ति होता है मनुष्य को. वो मुद्रा प्राप्ति होने से ये ऐसा अंदर से दिख पड़ता है.
In meditation, you attain the state of this kind of mudra, and when you get this mudra, you can see the blue pearl right within you all the time.
लोग उस पर विश्वास करना, अपना अंदर है, नहीं दिखने से वर्जा नहीं, ध्यान करते रहना, उसी का प्रेम रखिए.
Now one should believe that the blue pearl is within him. It doesn't matter whether he perceives it or not. At least he should understand or should become aware that it is within him, and should develop love for it and meditate.
ऐसा सब वो ये नील चिन्मय चमक से भरे हुए सब जगत.
Now like that, this entire universe is filled with that blue pearl, that consciousness, and it is shimmering light.
ऐसा टम बहुत सूक्ष्म है वो, जिसका ऐसा हिलते जैसा सतत वो दिव्य प्रकाश दिखते रहता हमको. वो प्रकाश में सब तुम लोग है.
and it is very subtle, and I see this subtle light all the time pulsating, all the time vibrating and shimmering and scintillating, and you can see the way it vibrates, and this whole world is within that light, and you are also in that light.
मनुष्य समझे न समझे, अपने अंदर वो परम सत्य ऐसा एक निष्ठ श्रद्धा से उसको ध्यान करते रहना चाहिए.
Whether you understand it or not, still with one-pointed devotion, one-pointed faith, you should meditate on that.
हम सबके लिए ये एक शब्द बोल सकता.
For everyone I can say this word.
जो परम सत्य जिसको लोग को अपना धर्म का ईश्वर मानते.
There is one supreme truth, and everyone considers that supreme truth as his lord of his own religion.
और जिस सत्य का नाम लेके मेरा धर्म बड़ा, मेरा धर्म बड़ा, मेरा गुरु बड़ा, मेरा गुरु बड़ा बोलकर युगों से वादा करते रहते.
And people have disputes among themselves. They say this is my religion and that is his religion, and my religion is great and my guru is great and his guru is not. And the truth speaking, there's only one truth, but on this one truth they all fight among themselves.
वो परम सत्य सभी के अंदर है, इसलिए मैं ये बोलता हूँ, आपको ध्यान, आपको पूजो, आपको वंदो, आपको समझो, आप में आप हो कि आपका राम आपका अंदर आपका लिए खड़ा है, तुम्हारे लिए खड़े हैं.
And that supreme truth lies within you. That is why I say meditate on yourself, worship yourself, kneel to yourself, understand yourself, and your Ram, your God dwells within you, as you, for you.
सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय.
Finish.
I'm going to be reading Muktananda's own account of his experience of the blue pearl from the book called Guru, or The Play of Consciousness, which Baba mentioned as having power in itself. And I loaned this book to a spiritually sensitive friend just a few days ago, and she called up and said that after reading the book she woke up in the middle of the night and there was Muktananda sitting in her shrine in her bedroom, and she said she got up out of bed and put her feet flat on the floor and blinked her eyes, and he was still sitting there, and then slowly faded out. So I don't doubt that this book has power. Again, these are the words of Baba Muktananda. The gloriously shining blue pearl, as it moved closer to me, began to expand with its innumerable lustrous inner rays. It became an oval and continued to grow into a human shape. I was beholding its expansion with amazement. The oval finally assumed a human form. Supernal radiance exploded from it. For a while I lost consciousness. The intuitive intelligence, which had so far disclosed all the secrets, also vanished. Muktananda no longer knew who he was. As self-awareness vanished, I also lost awareness of others. When there is no seer, sights dissolve. When there is no listener, sounds melt. For a while I was conscious of nothing. However, I was still in meditation. My lotus posture facing north was firmly locked. Once again, I saw a shining human form in place of what was an oval. I discerned a blue human figure within it. How enchantingly beautiful. His blue form shimmered and sparkled. His body was not a product of human fluids. It was composed of the blue rays of consciousness. He was a mass of pure awareness, the life of Muktananda's inner life. He was the inner essence of Guru Nityananda. He was the same as the playful conscious Mother Kundalini. The divine being stood before me with his shining, scintillating form. How captivating his eyes. What a noble forehead. He wore a crown inlaid with rarest jewels, made of consciousness, not of matter. I continued to gaze and gaze at him in sheer amazement, head to foot, foot to head, without blinking my eyes. Finally he spoke. I can see with any part of my body. I can see with the eyes, also with the nose. I have eyes on all sides. He lifted his foot slightly and added, I can also see with this foot. I see all things in all directions. I have lips everywhere. I speak not only with lips, but also with hands and feet. I have ears on all sides. I can hear with the whole body. Thus he was speaking, and I was listening raptly. I walk with the legs and also with the head. I can walk in any way. I can traverse any stretch of distance in an instant. I walk without feet and hold without hands. I speak without tongue and see without eyes. I am the farthest as well as the nearest. I am the body in all bodies, yet I am different from the body. He upraised one hand in the gesture of blessing. I was utterly astounded. Right before my eyes, the blue oval, which had expanded to a height of 6 feet, began to shrink. It became smaller and smaller until it was the blue pearl again. I had beheld the blue person who grants the final beatific vision. He is also called the unmanifest being, by whose blessing one realizes the highest truth. The Supreme Person appears to be different in different men, races, actions, names, forms, times, and spaces, yet remains undifferentiated. He lives as man in man, bird in bird, cow in cow, horse in horse, male in male, and female in female. In short, he becomes all, and yet remains above all. He gives his strength to all beings like a mother maintains their lives, and finally gathers them all into himself. He is the light of light, all lights deriving light from him. He is absolutely free from darkness. He knows everything. The blue person dwells in his fullness within the thousand-petal lotus and within the heart. Later, while I was gazing at the tiny blue pearl, it began to expand in all directions, spreading its blue radiance. The entire region from the earth to the sky became irradiated. It was a pearl no longer, having enlarged into a shining, sparkling, infinite light. I actually saw the universe arise from this expanding light like clouds of smoke from a fire. The cosmos appeared in the conscious light, and the conscious light in the cosmos, like threads in cloth, and cloth in threads. Just as one seed grows into a giant tree, shooting forth twigs, leaves, blossoms, and fruit, similarly, the self-same Chitti, or pure consciousness, becomes, in her own being, birds and animals, germs and insects, angels and demons. I perceived the refulgent, divinely beautiful conscious light, calmly throbbing as supreme bliss on all sides, within and without, above and below. Though my eyes were open, I was in meditation. Just as a diver descending into water finds himself in the midst of water, surrounded by water, and water alone on all sides, so also I was completely enveloped by that conscious light. In this state, the universe vanished, and I only beheld pure effulgence surging all around. I was seeing my beloved Guru Nityananda in the sparkling radiance of consciousness, and then he merged into it, just as ice melts into water, or camphor evaporates into air. Likewise Nityananda dissolved into the all-pervasive blue light. Now it was only a shimmering mass of glory, without name or form. And then all the spreading blue rays converged from all sides into the blue pearl, tiny as a lentil seed. The pearl merged into the thousand-petal lotus from which it had emerged. The distinction of inner and outer evaporated. Once again I perceived the universe stretching on all sides. brother, and enjoy your time alone. Rest now, my brother, and remember. Rest now, my sister, and enjoy your time alone. Rest now, my sister, and remember. Rest now, my lover, and enjoy your time alone. Oh, your relaxed mind is your road and is your home. And it's just so simple. Yeah, it's just so simple that I can't tell you. I can only help you. Water in the well, pearl within the shell, sun upon the sea, sea upon the sand, sand within the sky. It's a twinkle in your eye. Don't you live and don't you die. Let us fly. Let us fly. Let us fly. Let us fly. Rest now, my brother, and enjoy your time alone. Rest now, my brother, and remember. Rest now, my sister, and enjoy your time alone. Rest now, my sister, and remember. Rest now, my lover, and enjoy your time alone. Oh, your relaxed mind is your road and is your home. Water in the well, pearl within the shell. Water in the well, pearl within the shell. Pearl within the shell. Pearl within the shell. Pearl within the shell.